Let Parliament set up a committee that goes to each individual farm and establish the so-called improvements. Do they even exist, the improvements? What's the value of the improvements? Then we begin to talk about compensation. But you cannot just sit arbitrarily. And that's the problem with this president. He just sits arbitrarily and decide on national matters. And worse still now, he's even taking government and state procedures to his farm, you know. There's no denigration of government and state processes that are worse than taking policy announcements from State House, from Parliament, from government houses to your own backyard. And you begin to make political and policy announcements surrounded by a coterie of hangers-on who are not only pushing for anything, any sensible policy reform, but they are pushing for an agenda year 2030 so that they continue looting. So this is for all intents and purposes the so-called land tenure implementation committee and the ideas that it is coming up with. It's purely fundraising, and no one will be criminalized for speculating that this is a form of fundraising in order to push the 2030 agenda. So because this 6.6 billion will be an extraordinary war chest for the president and his hangers-on, so that they keep on holding on to state power. And in some spaces, the ZANU-PF spokesman, Chris Mtswangwa, has actually divulged that we will not allow anyone to come into power as long as that anyone does not promote our business interests. So the 2030 agenda is being pushed, and the indications are even these fundraising projects, you know, are connected to the 2030 agenda. So this is a gimmick that has been put in place in order to fundraise for an equally illegal extension of the president's term of office. So we have a president clearly who has gone rogue. And what he has done now is actually touching a live wire in this thing. And we cannot have just wake up one day with some group of people now purporting to be selling this land. You cannot import gold panning tendencies towards national resources like the land. You can't do that. That modus operandi, that Korokoza modus operandi, does not apply here. So the president cannot, as the law stands now, go pampandawana or kuzaka in Ward 20 where I come from and purport to be seated there and say, I've given people title deeds. The president has suddenly taken land baronship to another level. He's just another land baron. You cannot just wake up at your farm surrounded by a group of bootlickers and begin to be saying that you are giving title deeds. Even some people there, the irony is that some people who were even there were said to be the first beneficiaries of. So you announce something, all of a sudden someone has even titled this ipapo, microwave kind of thing. That's not how you buy land. President then says, title deed. Then I'm the first beneficiary. This is nonsense, for lack of a better word. This is pure nonsense. You can't be doing this. You can't run a country like this. I see tax shop. You could do wamanya basera bona chun wachitenga $2 woto yaba wakuchitengesa $5 without any regard for any law whatsoever. You cannot do that with land because of its historical meaning, because of its spiritual meaning in our country. You cannot be doing that.
I've seen in the past that you have approached courts to deal with questions like this in the past when you approached them to deal with the matter of elections. Would you be approaching the court to deal with such pronouncements which appear to be taking a legal face?
It's not only the courts that should be approached. I for one, I don't believe in just one strategy towards dealing with particular issues. I'm a firm believer of being pragmatic and not being bogged down to what I call professional provincialism. Because most of the people here, because our politics has been dominated by lawyers, they think everything, every solution to any political problem has to be legal. Yes, the legal path is there, but the political the political way is simply there for everyone to use. Because what problem do we have? We don't have a legal problem. We have a political problem. The political problem emanates from having a rogue president doing things outside the law, not respecting the Constitution. What do? You remove the president. That's the simplest that you can do. Remove the guy. Impeach the guy. You can remove the president through parliament, through impeachment. That's one thing. You can remove the president through other means. And other means include mobilizing people onto the streets, rallying them because of what he has done. Even President Mugabe, was he removed through impeachment? No, there was a coup. So there are several ways of removing a president. So this president needs to be removed.